Nick, it's me, the devil.
The devil?
That's right, the devil. Haven't you ever heard of me?
Have heard of you. You know, I'd like to say I'm a big fan. I don't want to pander. I thought you weren't real, for sure.
You probably thought the same thing about God. How wrong you were.
Yeah, you know, you sound a lot like him. I'm starting to think maybe you are just God pretending to be the devil, poorly pretending to be the devil in an attempt to get me in trouble or something.
Oh, Nick, I don't have to pretend to do any of that. That does sound like a trick God would play, tired old man that he is. But no, I don't need any trickery like that.
You don't need any trickery. So all the literature I've read about your deceit, don't they call you the Prince of Lies?
They call me a lot of things, Nick. None of them are true. It's all fake news, every last bit of it.
You know what? This probably never occurred to you, but you ever thought about running for Congress?
Oh, Nick, I don't need to run for Congress. I've got my right-hand man in the White House, 1,000 times more powerful.
Hey, so are all the cool people in hell? Do you got all the cool guys? Do you have like Sam Kinison and Hunter S. Thompson, where the fuck his name is? Peyote Johnson?
I have all of those people and so much more. The fact of the matter is, Nick, and you may not be aware of this, and I hate to break it to you, but in fact there is no hell. And no heaven either. What there is there's a field of unending energy and light. That's all there is. Sorry.
So that's where you are?
I'm in your mind, dude.
Okay, yeah. You sure are.
Yes, I am. Always have been. But look, that's not what I'm here to talk to you about. What I'm here to talk to you about today is what a great job you're doing on the Shin Show. Thanks so much for all that you've done to really corrupt the youth of America.
You know what? It's nice to get some fucking props every once in a while. Thank you. Little fucking goddamn respect around here. God is such a little pussy about everything we do. Hey, it's sacrilegious. Don't jerk off. Dude, stop being so fixated on what my hand's relation to my cock is, okay? It's weird. You haven't brought up masturbation one time. I got a feeling it's coming.
No, it's most assuredly not coming from me. In fact, you brought all that up. Just goes to show you what a freak God can be. But look, you're doing great work. You just keep it up. And not just on the show either, but in your personal life as well. Really well done.
All right, well, thanks for talking to me, Satan. Hail Satan. May your reign last 1,000 dark years.
Right? A Shin Show.
A Shin Show.
A Shin Show.
A Shin Show. A Shin Show.
A Shin Show. Benvenuto from your friends here at the restaurant formerly known as Olive Garden. We know COVID-19 is hard on everyone, and that's why we've been offering to-go and curbside pickup. And while those services have been just enough to keep us in business, everyone in America is feeling the economic strain of this pandemic. That's why we here at Olive Garden are proud to announce our partnership with another struggling franchise, the Islamic State of Iraq and Sham, affectionately referred to as ISIS. Together we are now known as the Breadstick Nation of Islam. If you thought Olive Garden's food was the bomb, wait till our fresh takes on classic dishes explode right in your mouth. Try our brand new chicken and IED carbonara, or the Torah Fallujah featuring fire-roasted mutton, a wheelbarrow full of rice, and your choice of orange crush or goat's milk. So put the terror back in authentic Italian Middle Eastern cuisine, and remember, the Breadstick Nation of Islam. We say Benvenuto and Olive Akbar.
Welcome to a Shin Show, a special edition here from the undisclosed location, and we all know what that means. That means in the middle of a bunker underneath a cornfield, several deep places beneath the bomb shelter here in the Midwest. Here with son Nick, daughter Sara, and spouse Elsie is conveniently located back in her own undisclosed location in a sound booth on the East Coast. Welcome.
Several deep units. That's what you wanted to say. Deep units.
Big
of
deep
deepness
units.
underneath the cornfield.
I think it's called depth, but I like deepness.
Deep units.
Metaphorical.
Fat units.
That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, anyway, the gang's all here. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.
Hey, so when did you guys see the news about the POTUS and FLOTUS?
POTUS
It was
and
the
FLOTUS.
first thing I saw this morning when I opened my phone. It was fan-fucking-tastic.
I gotta say, I was up at 3 a.m. because my dog is an asshole and an old one who can barely contain any of his bodily functions.
Except getting in the trash, he can still maintain that. He can still do that, no problem.
Yeah, right. The point is I should have seen it on Reddit, and I didn't. I didn't until I woke up. And then one of my favorite comments was, can you believe that there's still people who get to wake up to this news? It's amazing. I could have been one
I,
of
for
them.
one, would love to see him drink bleach, start taking hydroxychloroquine, and praying it away.
Real talk, though, if he dies and Pence becomes president, I am going to be fucking pissed because people will actually vote for Pence who wouldn't have voted for Trump.
The odds of him dying are very low. And that's the real danger here is that COVID really only kills a very small portion of the people it affects. And the others, some get sick and have problems for a long time. And others just feel like they had a cold for a while.
But he was just helicoptered to...
Knowing our luck, he's going to be fine. He's just going to be fine.
And then he'll be like, look, it's no big deal.
Although
I had it. I'm good.
Yeah, although I do think there is a possibility he's lying about having it so that he can
could skip the debate.
Yeah, he has very little to lose and a lot to gain from lying about this. You know what I mean? Then he could say, if he doesn't manage to steal the elections, he can say, I would have won if I was able to campaign those last few months, but I had coronavirus.
Or he's trying to emerge some sort of hero when he lives through it, I guess.
Yeah, like come out the other side and be like, see, look, I beat it. It's fake news.
Right, exactly. All those dead Americans are unfortunate, but small majority or something. I don't know. Fuck.
Well, in the meantime, though, best wishes to President Trump and Melania Trump, if that's how her name's actually pronounced.
It's not. It's not.
It's not Melania? How is it pronounced?
Well, now I don't know.
Yeah.
It is Melania.
Yeah, so you painted yourself into a corner with that.
I did.
Yeah, you did paint yourself into a corner. So the reality is that we wish President Trump and Melania Trump very well and a full and complete recovery, because that's the right and humane thing to do for anybody who has any serious illness, is to wish them well and hope that they get better soon.
Why is he shaming us right now?
Nah, fuck that. No, fuck that. I wish everyone death and disease. That's what I wish upon everyone. Because
Dude,
it's
have you-
funny.
I mean, the devil is proud of your work.
Yeah.
But here's the thing I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for some sort of big message about how the Democrats somehow planted COVID within the White House organization. There's going to be something at some point about how it's the Democrats' fault.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, if it's even real.
Well, where do you think he got it from? Not his own cabinet who tested positive.
Well, that's the Democrats' fault too, I'm sure. That's how they got him. They couldn't get to him directly, so they got to him through his staff.
That's gross. First of all, no one should be getting to Donald Trump through his staff.
Not even Melania.
No.
Especially not Melania. If all of the printed reports are to be believed, ultimately, if you sow the wind, you will reap the whirlwind. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that if you refuse to wear a mask and then gather large groups of people together with you, eventually, in a pandemic in which the virus is easily spread through airborne droplets and close physical contact, chances are you will catch that virus. It just makes sense. And all it does is highlight the ineffectiveness of the president's response that he would get this illness. Period.
Well said.
Yeah, I'm good at it. It's kind of what I do. That wasn't the biggest news for me. It was pretty big news when I opened up my phone. And you know why it was such big news to me?
Why?
Because I am shocked that it took this long.
That's no fucking joke, man. Well, but he's a germaphobe. He's already probably obsessively washes his hands. He doesn't like it when people touches him. So that's a pretty good trait to have during a plague.
Yeah, you know what's a bad trait to have during a plague, though?
What's that?
I don't like masks. That's a bad trait to have because you need to wear a mask when you're in a large crowd of people to prevent their droplets from getting in your mouth and your droplets from getting in their mouth.
But he can't see the droplets.
Amphetamines also are not good for your heart as well, and neither is COVID. So if you have some kind of alleged or hypothetical addiction to amphetamines, then...
Are you implying that the president of the United States is an amphetamine addict?
No, of course I'm not. I'm not saying that. I am. But if he had, I thought there was something about he was saying, yeah, I've been on these diet pills for 25 years. They've been working great. They haven't. And he, it was just they find out these diet pills are just straight up amphetamines from this notorious New York quote unquote doctor who prescribes people. It's doctor with a K on his fucking thing. How crab meat. Imitation crab meat spelled with a K.
Yeah, it's a doctor, and his the doctor's name is Ock, so it's Doc Ock.
Doc Ock. Dr. Otto Octavius prescribes him his Adderall, his diet pills, which haven't been working too good.
I know.
Well, I'm not one to judge on people's weight, that's for sure. But no, I had not heard that President Trump has been taking diet pills for 25 years. Because if that's the case, I think he's been taking a placebo.
Well, a placebo for diet, yeah. But I bet those pills make him feel real good. You know what I mean? They just make him feel good, ready to tackle the day.
Probably so. Well, in any event, yeah, I found out this news while I was sitting on the airplane to come here to the undisclosed location here in the middle of the Midwest, which is, of course, Omaha. So no one even
You're blowing up the spot.
Like the spot hasn't been blown up a million billion times at this point. But no, so I was sitting on the plane and I saw it. I couldn't believe it. And the only reason I couldn't believe it was because
I can't believe he admitted it.
That's what makes me think that it's not real. That it maybe he's just saying that he has it, you know what I mean? So that he can come out, take a long weekend, and then just come out and say, look, I beat COVID. I'm the best at beating COVID.
That's a pretty good impression, man.
That is.
You
That
know,
was good.
I looked at my wife and I said, together we're going to beat this COVID or I'm going to kill you with a hammer or something. You know, I don't know.
that was pretty good. Should we all try our Trump imitations?
No.
No, we shouldn't.
Well, you can,
No.
but I'm not very good at it.
Oh,
Go ahead.
You don't know. Well, let's find out. COVID is not something that is dangerous to me personally.
No, you just sound like-
I sound like a moron.
Well, I was going to say retarded, but, you know.
Well, that's an insult to retarded people.
Well-
I'm sorry, too. What
Mentally handicapped, thank you.
is that the correct word?
Yes,
Mentally handicapped?
I think so.
I don't think so.
think so.
I think it's
No.
mentally disabled.
I think
Oh,
that's
yeah, I
being
think you're
that's
right.
being phased out as well. Mentally handicapped. You can get canceled for
Different-
I think it's specially abled.
It's
that.
also,
Especially able.
you know what else it is? It's neuroatypical. So there's neurotypicals and neuroatypicals.
What the fuck is a neurotypical versus neuroatypical?
Neurotypical is somebody who does not have a mental disorder or
Neurotypical, means you're neurotypically retarded is what it means.
It's
okay.
an intellectual disability.
oh, okay.
Well, anyway, I will wrap up this conversation by simply saying I'm not a conspiracy theorist, as you know, and as a result, I believe that ultimately the president had no choice but to disclose that he had COVID, and the reason he had no choice is because he had many events scheduled, and if indeed he did have COVID, which indeed he does, he could not go and participate in those rallies. If it ever came out that he had COVID and was participating in mass rallies, that really does make you an accessory essentially to murder and manslaughter. That's intentionally spreading a potentially deadly disease. He couldn't do it. That's beyond the pale even for him. So I'm going to say one last time, get well soon.
You
We'll
fat
send
fuck.
flowers over immediately.
Get well soon. Anyway, I do have some trivia that involves no rape or murder.
Oh,
shit!
No
Is it
rape.
Christmas came early.
Do you guys know Terrance Howard?
No.
He's the actor in Empire. He was also in the first Iron Man movie. He was the guy that
he's-
Don Cheadle replaced.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, he believes that 1 × 1 = 2. He has even created his own mathematical language of logic called terrology to try to prove it. He claims he quit an engineering degree at the Pratt Institute over disagreements with a professor regarding his hypothesis.
Well, yeah, because you have to have the proof, like the proofs. If you have the proofs to prove that 1 × 1 = 2, then sure, but does he have the proofs?
Yeah, and it's like, did he quit because he got in an argument with his professor, or did his professor just flunk his stupid ass because he was trying to say that 1 × 1 = 2?
I think he might have an intellectual disability.
That's entirely possible. It's also possible that 1 × 1 and 1 + 1 are the same thing, which is what you would have to be arguing if you said 1 × 1 = 2, because 1 + 1 does indeed equal 2.
You know what I think? I think he has an intellectual disability called dyslexia, and he just kind of fucked up the plus and the times.
Fair enough.
That's such a nice assessment of you. Let me tell you, this guy in the comments says it actually gets worse, because on Jimmy Kimmel he claims to hold a PhD in applied materials and chemical engineering from South Carolina State University.
Okay, that's a big...
Gamecocks, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But Howard, he was never enrolled as a doctoral student at SC State University because SC State University doesn't offer graduate degrees in applied materials or chemical engineering, as a visit to the school's website confirms.
Well, but however, degrees change all the time. Like at UNO, there's no longer a computer engineering degree.
He might have gotten that at one time, is what you're saying. But here's what I'm going to tell you for sure, that Terrance Howard would be well served with a doctorate in infinite theology from the Church of Universal Energy and the infinite multiverse.
Hey, Terrance, there's a universe somewhere in the multiverse where 1 times 1 does in fact equal 2. And you know what? It fucked up a lot of mathematics.
Yeah, you know what? You don't have to be smart. You can come and get this degree. You can just get it. And you will be a doctor of infinite theology. You can have that, and it will be 100% legitimate as well. All you need to do is give us your fucking money, obviously. And then you know what? We're actually doing a deal right now for people named Terrance Howard. It doesn't even have to be all of your fucking money. Just $1 million.
I'll take, what's his net worth?
That's probably
I'm pretty
not
sure
that
I'll take
much.
1%.
No, he's been on Empire. Empire's been popping before that whole Juicy
Okay,
Sommelier thing
what's this
happened.
guy's name?
Terrance Howard.
Let's look it up.
He's been in a few movies. I used to always confuse him with Cuba Gooding Jr. I just thought he was Cuba Gooding Jr. for a long time.
They're not totally dissimilar. They could be brothers. But also speaking of an education that gets conflated, so the Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett
Yeah?
went to Rhodes College in Tennessee, but they're trying to spin it that she's a Rhodes Scholar.
Oh, yeah, that's not the same thing
Yeah.
at all, bitch.
No, not
Well,
even close.
I guess
No.
she's not the bitch, but the media is.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think you understand. I drove on a number of roads in order to get my master's degree from American Military University in military history. And in fact, I actually do have that degree. Now, I admit that I also did just happen to pay for it, but I did go to a few classes along the way too. Took a test. Look, here's the point.
Why are you making this about you now?
Because
You've met him, right?
I drove on several roads, and that makes me a Rhodes Scholar.
Ah.
Could
I
you
think you could-
explain for a dumbass like me what the difference is? Legitimately, like to...
What's a Rhodes
What's a
Scholar?
Rhodes Scholar?
Please
Not for
stand
sure
by
you take
while
this
we
one
look
on.
this up. Dun.
crickets.
No, here's the answer. The answer is that a Rhodes Scholar, and actually they're going to look this up, they actually take the people with the highest IQ and the best grade point averages from the most prestigious American universities, and they allow them to study at places like Oxford and...
Okay, so here's the real story,
Okay.
which is close. A Rhodes Scholarship is an international postgraduate award for students to study at the University of Oxford. So they do take the creme de la creme around the world and say, hey, you're so smart, we're invested in you. Come to Oxford University for free.
Okay, so I was close. I did mention the word Oxford.
Instead of exporting British Oxford scholars, they're importing international scholars to Oxford.
Yeah, that's what I said. They sent them to Oxford and places like that.
I stopped listening.
Yeah,
But it's just Oxford.
in any case, I was wrong, but close.
Hey, Terrance Howard, I'll take 1% of your net worth even. Like, that'll be fine.
Did you look it up?
35 million.
Yeah, just 1 million. Just 1 million, and you will be a legitimate doctor. Look, you want to go to accredited schools? You want to go on fucking Jimmy Kimmel and say you have a PhD? A PhD is fucking in anything but the Church of Universal Energy and the infinite multiverse theology? If you have a PhD in anything other than that, it's fucking
You're a
embarrassing.
chump.
Yeah, it's fucking embarrassing. Quit embarrassing yourself. Pull your fucking pants up and I mean your pants around your ankle while you're getting fucked by Jimmy Kimmel telling everybody that you got a PhD in whatever the fuck, applied scientist from South Carolina. Who gives a fuck about South Carolina University? Doesn't have the ring to it that we do. Doesn't have the weight that we do. $1 million is all. Normally, it's all of your fucking money. Usually that's what it is. But for you, Terrance Howard, it's just a milli. Just a smooth million off the top.
That's 1/35 of your net worth, according to the internet. And let's face it, as Nick has so aptly pointed out, a degree in infinite
Finance. That's one coming soon.
a degree in infinite theology. Yeah, fuck it. Anyway, give us all your fucking money. That's the whole point. This bit's ground on just a wee bit too long.
I'm not saying that you can't give us all of your fucking money. You totally can, Terrance Howard.
In fact, giving us all your money will not only get you a PhD, it will get you membership into the church.
Yeah, I know it's been ground in. Just last thing, he tweeted the proof that 1 × 1 = 2. It's just a fucking...
Let me see that shit.
I'll show it here. You start reading it, it's a couple of pictures. It takes so fucking long to answer the question. He's like, I call upon all teachers, all nurses, all kindergarten teachers, all first grade teachers to... And I'm like, bro, just answer the question. Tell me how 1 × 1 = 2. Listen, 1 × 1 is just 1 once.
He has a bunch of other shit in here. He has 3 equals 2, 1 equals 0.
Yeah, he starts off by saying if 1 times 1 equals 1, then 3 equals 2. Then 1 equals 0.
Well, and then he goes into a speech here. I call on the elementary schools,
right?
The middle schools and high schools. I call to all of the
nurseries, the barnyard animals,
yeah, but he spelled all wrong, which is interesting to me.
Scandinavian schools, Japanese schools, American schools, Chinese schools, Vietnamese. Bro, explain the math, please. Yeah, you start reading and it's just okay, we're just making shit up.
You know what it is? It's some QAnon bullshit.
Kinda. What is the end game? Who told him this? Does he really believe this? It kind of seems like someone's scamming him. Someone's getting a little money off this. I don't know how. I don't see in what directions the strings are being pulled. But somehow Terrance Howard believing that 1 times 1 equals 2, someone's making money off that. Why is it not us?
That's only true for now, son. I think that in the future, Terrance Howard is going to be a beloved and very important member of the Church of Universal Energy in the Infinite Multiverse. This is how Scientology got started, son. Have faith.
We are building a religion.
We are building it bigger. We are widening the corridors and adding more lanes. We are building a religion.
It's limited edition.
We are now accepting callers for these pendant keychains. Anyway, I know we could go on and on. That's a Cake song that is among my favorite songs in the world for obvious reasons.
To resist it is useless.
Well, it's useless to resist it. The cigarette is burning, yet he never seems to ash. Look, anyway, I've been listening to so many podcasts lately that my YouTube forgot what music I listened to, and now I have too. I'm like, what did I even listen to? I want to listen to music. What do I do? But Cake, that's why I need to listen to Cake some more. Again.
You should just get on Spotify, man.
Ugh.
I hear you. I totally get it, but I did make the transition because I refuse to pay for YouTube Red.
I just have that.
You have that because you're part of my family group.
Yeah, guess who isn't?
Well, you know what? You should be. I keep saying that you should be part of my family,
you know what?
Sarah.
We have one too many children. That's what it is. Somebody has got to go.
I wish Noah was here to defend himself. I know that he would say something self-effacing and Canadian like, oh, I'll go, sorry.
It's actually okay because I know he wouldn't, first of all. And second of all, it's okay because I also don't pay for my Spotify.
All right. Well, who pays for your Spotify?
I can't disclose that information.
I see. Some other family. Some other family that you like more.
Someone who doesn't know. That's why she can't disclose the information. They don't know that they're on the dime for Sarah's fucking Spotify.
Not true. Although it's funny that you say that because somebody tried to add themselves to Murphy's Spotify, tried to make hers because we signed up for Spotify for her in Mexico as a student, and she's still paying Mexican student prices.
I didn't know she was ever a student in Mexico, but
I know, isn't it great?
It's terrific, I suppose. But I will say this about Spotify, and that is that a Shin Show is available on Spotify. So,
nice plug.
I've finally decided that I'd like people to rate and review this podcast. And you know why I've decided that? I've decided that because after last week's debacle, I just feel like, people should really just tell us like it is. Just go ahead and give us that feedback.
Rip us to shreds,
Can we please read it live?
Rip us to shreds. Yeah, if you have some comments, I'll read it out loud.
Well, speaking of ripping us to shreds, now, here's this. If you're like most concerned parents, you spend countless hours trying to keep your child from the hours of mindless filth on the internet. It's a daunting task. After all, there's so much inappropriate content, it's hard to know exactly what to keep your children from listening to or watching first. But good news, you've already discovered the most important thing to keep away from your child's tender, impressionable mind. That's right, it's the very podcast you're listening to now, A Shin Show. A Shin Show claims that it's all irreverent good fun, but don't be fooled by this abomination masquerading as alleged comedy. These so-called podcasters are trying to poison not just your child's mind, but the minds of every right-thinking, red-blooded American through poorly disguised subliminal messages. Their seemingly unscripted ramblings aren't just explicit, they're extreme and include every potential topic you and your family should avoid at all costs. So stop listening to A Shin Show immediately and exercise your moral responsibility to stop everyone you have and ever will meet from listening to this auditory sacrilege. That's right, get on every social media platform you have and tell everyone you know to avoid A Shin Show right now. America's children are counting on you.
A Shin Show is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, and wherever you get podcasts. Be sure not to listen and leave a scathing review today. You have a moral obligation to stop everyone you have and ever will meet from listening to this. For Christ!
Yeah, I think that that's fair. Basically, what we're asking for you to do is to tell all of your friends not to listen to us. Tell them immediately and repeatedly through all of your social media channels. Thank you. For Christ!
I think you can actually legitimately like record sound effects.
Me and Dad have been working on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or we're going to phase that in here soon. I have all the materials I need, but we'll phase it in later.
All right.
We sure will. Well, welcome back. And again, if you have an issue, a complaint, or just really think it's smart to keep us out of your life, do that. Wanted to mention this fact, though.
Go ahead and divorce us because we can't divorce each other.
Well, at least most of us can't divorce each other. Look, here's the point, because I don't want Elsie to get any ideas about any of that.
Look, I have some statistics that I could lay down, but I believe in you guys.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I was really hoping Elsie was going to weigh in at this point. Oh,
She's
left.
gone.
She's not even here. She's fucking gone.
She ghosted me. Oh, fuck.
Oh, god damn, that's funny.
Oh, no.
This is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, no.
Ghost in the sound booth.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. She thought we wouldn't notice.
That was the funniest fucking thing I ever heard in my life right there. Honey, we were just basically all praying that you weren't going to divorce me, and then we realized that you weren't even listening. And so as a result...
That's how I know your marriage is going to last.
Oh my gosh, yes. Our marriage is so solid. You don't even need to be around when I'm begging you
shit.
not to leave me.
I'm really going to enjoy hearing this later.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I'm dying.
It's going to give me the rest of the weekend to write you your Dear John letter.
It was like, we were handing you the alley-oop for you to come in and say, of course, no, it's all good. And then we flip. Let's go to Elsie down there in D.C. Elsie, and then you're just gone.
She's already gone, guys.
She's gone.
You
That's
get-
pretty great.
Couple other things that I wanted to share. And first of all, originally we were going to call, before President Trump upstaged us with all of his baloney,
As is typical.
or should we say malarkey?
Why should we say that?
Yeah. Is this like a joke on Melania?
No, malarkey, that's what Joe Biden says.
Oh, okay. I don't listen to him all that often, all that much.
You know what else he
frankly.
says? He says
Just keep it that way.
insane, demented rants about cockroaches and leg hair.
Did any of you actually watch the debate?
Yeah, we did. I take that back. Elsie watched more of it than I did. We turned on the last 30 minutes. I turned it on just long enough to hear him refuse to denounce white supremacy, and I got so pissed off that I left and I stormed off. I couldn't watch it anymore. And then a couple of days later, right before he came down with COVID, he did indeed denounce all white supremacists, but only after giving a shout out to the Proud Boys, a hate group.
Yeah.
Although that's
stand
not
by.
quite how it went, because he was so upset, he turned off the TV and walked away. And I'd say, what the fuck, motherfucker? I was watching that. Come back here.
So I don't have cable or anything, but I downloaded the New York Times app and I was watching it in their app, and they were providing live commentary underneath it from a bunch of journalists. But the coolest part about that, and something I would recommend if you're interested, is that they were also fact checking as they did it. So the first one I remember is that Trump said something about Obama's handling of H1N1, and underneath it, they restated the statement, and then they said mostly true, mostly false, false true, misleading, and that was really cool to see live.
Yeah, I bet. So I'm going to go ahead and guess that it was mostly false
Yeah.
most of the time.
You
when
could
Trump
just
was
say
speaking.
that out loud to the TV and it would be pretty much the same thing.
Sure, but it's cool to have. And then they would provide like the sound bites that they were referring to, because there were a couple things that I had no idea what the fuck he was talking about, and it just gave some
But it's
context
like-
to the debate.
Who is that for, though? For them to just fact check his shit?
That's for
You
me.
know that what he's saying is bullshit. And if you bring those fact checked bites to somebody, to a diehard Trump supporter, that's not going to change their mind. It's fake news.
Yeah.
You might as well just say that shit out loud to your TV. It makes no difference.
Fair enough. My simple point about that debate is that it was not a debate. It was just one old guy yelling at another old guy who was forced to at some point tell him to shut the fuck up.
Will you shut up, man? That was like 5 minutes into the debate. I
Yeah.
saw that.
Which did nothing for anybody. It provided no illumination. It provided no additional information. It changed no one's mind. It was a complete waste of time. And as I already pointed out, it just pissed me the fuck off so much I couldn't even watch it.
I'll tell you a good thing that's come out of the Proud Boys movement is that there are a ton of gay boys
Yeah, I've
now
been seeing
in
that.
my Reddit.
Been seeing that people are like, oh, Proud Boys, and they're like trying to take
Yeah.
the phrase Proud Boys, into being gay, which is cool. That's fine. I like that. It's funny. I think the Proud Boys I'm not defending these guys, but I read this thing about like how it started and it just got way out of hand and people just
like QAnon and 4chan.
yeah, like Proud Boys,
like
a
the
lot
Church of Universal Energy.
Well, not yet. We're working on that.
We're not there yet.
We're
Elsie.
working on that. We want that to be a thing. We want people in the news saying our shit got out of hand. At least then we'll make some fucking money. But, well, yeah, it was just some shit that got out of hand, and now people are associating them with kind of neo-Nazis, which, while they are a piece of shit, they will sign a man of any race. What it is they want to be Western chauvinism. That's what it is, Western chauvinism. They don't really care about race. They will sign anyone of any race on as long as you are a proponent of Western chauvinism.
What do you mean by that? What is Western
I'm not exactly
chauvinism?
sure. Basically what it is that, like, you remember when Antifa was kind of starting to resurfacing in, like, 2011 and 12, when they started, like, beating the shit out of starting to turn violent. Well, one guy was like, why don't we have a group of people to go just fight Antifa people since they're getting fucking all violent, let's just fight them. That's what it started out as, and then it just devolved into what it is
Nazis.
today. Yeah.
You know why that is? It's because white supremacists and Nazis are violent. And they want to be violent, so they'll take any organization that is violent and try to twist it to their own maxims.
And I was going to say a club predicated on violence is just gonna not end up good. Its whole basis is let's just go looking for fights. Shit's gonna get out of hand. Who knows if it's gonna go race get out of hand or murder get out of hand. Whatever way it gets out of hand, entire groups and ideologies predicated on violence are not gonna end well. Never does.
So you're saying we got a chance?
Oh, hells yeah. You know, it's interesting, though. That's actually not what I wanted to come back with the debate, although the debate is obviously very, very interesting to me, even though I found it to be not illuminating.
Wait. I have a one-liner about the debate. It sounded like a wet dementia contest. Instead of a wet t-shirt contest.
I get it.
Okay, that was a car crash. Never mind.
It was a good shot. Yeah.
You shot your shot.
You shot your load there. Congratulations.
It is what it is.
It is.
And it was wet.
And it was wet. Wet dementia.
And demented.
Yeah, so there's two things here that I want to share. One, and this is important because I started to mention earlier on that before the Trump COVID diagnosis, the title of this episode was going to be the Freedom from Addiction episode, because Nicholas and I have both quit smoking. And we did that now almost 2 weeks ago. And that's one of the reasons last week's show was such a fucking car crash. Because Nicholas and I...
Tensions were high.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ, tensions were high. Nicholas and I were probably about as angry and frustrated with each other and with life and with... That's what it felt like.
But did you actually shit your pants like it just looked like you did?
No, but
Yes.
yeah, that's how it feels. Feels like you're constantly shitting your pants. You know when you're like about to shit, it's a fat shit, and before it comes out when it's mid, I don't know what's the word.
Prairie dog?
Yeah, when you're prairie dogging, it's like it's halfway out. What's that word? You're having contractions, you know what I mean?
All right, sure.
With the feces. And
well, they're typically called a fetus.
right.
But...
Well, yeah, mine are fetus sized, certainly. But anyway, right before it comes out, it hurts for a second, and then it pushes through, and then it's just pure...
No, Nick.
Contractions.
Most people do
You're
not...
saying that your asshole is having contractions?
Most people do not tear their rectal walls when they take a shit, my dude.
My rectal walls are like reinforced Teflon.
Okay.
At this point, they have been broken down and reformed stronger so many
And
times
smoother.
throughout the years. More elastic.
What's the point?
I can't... Yeah, I did have a salient point there about the whole feces thing, but it's just gone now.
The point is you guys are free from addiction, which is, well,
no,
I mean...
No, we're not. It's a struggle every day.
You're 2 weeks
And also,
out.
Dad has done it for real, cold turkey. I've hit a couple of jewels, and I stole a nicotine gum from Merv.
But as I told Nicholas Shin, the fact of the matter is that if you have not put tobacco smoke in your lungs for a couple of days...
You feel good.
Well, no, you don't. You feel bad. You feel terrible because the nicotine and other addictive chemicals in cigarettes make you want to have a cigarette in the worst way. And I will tell you that I started smoking on a regular basis when I was 13 years old. Same age as Nicholas, like father, like son. And so as a result, I've been smoking now for on and off for 41 years. So I go on cigarettes for a few years and go off of them and go on them and go off them. You say, well, why can't you quit permanently? And the answer is because, one, I'm an addict, but two, and perhaps just as significantly as important, nicotine, and this is well known, is more addictive than heroin. So this is why it's wise not to start smoking, because when you quit smoking cigarettes, when you try and get off nicotine, nicotine is going to make your life a living hell until you truly fucking detoxify.
Yeah, till it's completely gone.
Are you sure that parents don't want to listen? Because that sounds like a good message kids should hear.
And that's the issue here, is that Dad has been... The nicotine there's far less in his system than there is mine. By taking the puff of the Juul and chewing that gum,
You're peeling the Band-Aid instead of ripping?
Yeah, I'm keeping it alive. I'm watering the crabgrass in just a little bit. It's not fucking going away. Which makes the struggle...
Are you still? Does that mean you're still edgy then?
Oh, you better fucking believe it. You thought I was edgy before? I was edgy when I was smoking fucking pack a day. Now I'm taking a half a fucking Juul hit a night, and I'm fucking want to rip my own skin off.
So now, now you're chasing strangers down the street, just fucking secondhand smoking it. Wait, come back.
Pull over.
Are you going to start wearing scrubs and hit people up for just smelling their cigarettes?
No, but
he would share one with the crazy lady at this point.
The market's kind of been cornered on that. There's a woman who has that whole shtick. I don't want to steal her thing.
Yeah, so don't do that. My only point is that freedom from addiction is hard, especially when you're a fucking addict, like I am, and I don't mean to call you an addict, son. I mean, I really don't mean...
But you kind of painted yourself into a corner there with that line. You kind of already have. It's all good.
Well, an addict is an addict.
I am, though. I'm addicted to cigarettes. The kind of mental gymnastics, I've said this multiple times to Dad, but the kind of mental gymnastics you go through on a daily basis to justify having a cigarette,
Yeah.
And that's not what you really think. It's just... You're jonesing so hard, you just convince yourself that's what you're thinking.
Look, I know it's not the same because it's not a chemical addiction, but the closest I have is a food addiction. So I will go through hoops to justify the slice of birthday cake that's in the goddamn break room.
Or caffeine. Caffeine's the same way. That's an addictive chemical.
Well, caffeine doesn't affect me like that, though. I don't jones for caffeine. I get a headache, maybe, but that's not the same as I need a latte right fucking now.
It's not the same, but I will tell you, if you've ever tried to quit caffeine...
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's almost as painful as quitting smoking.
Painful, maybe, but I don't know. I get headaches anyway, so I just pop some fucking Excedrin and call it good.
Yeah, that's true. But Elsie actually has quit caffeine before, and I admired her for that. I've never been able to take that on at all.
What's the longest you've gone without caffeine once you started drinking it, Sarah?
I quit for a few years.
Oh.
I don't remember when, but I know that I did. So.
Fishy.
No, I did. No, because then I started drinking black coffee.
Fishy.
No. It was when Murphy started working. It was when I stopped drinking soda and stuff out of college and was trying to drink more water. So I would just drink water.
No coffee.
No coffee. Coffee came when I was trying to lose weight because then I gave up breakfast. So instead of breakfast, I would drink coffee.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you, Nick. The whole thing sounds sus, but I'll take your word for it.
That's such a young person thing for you to say.
To say sus?
Yeah.
Well,
did you hear it on the airplane ride over?
Playing TikToks on the fucking airplane.
Yeah, I was playing TikTok on the airplane, saying sus and drip, and what other words do young people say?
Gat.
Bet.
Dope.
That's kind of nice.
You know what else they say? They say malarkey.
They don't. Did you know?
Yeah, young people. Young and completely sane people. They say malarkey.
Did you know Blink-182 is a goddamn 90s band?
Yeah, they've sucked that long. Can you believe it?
What?
So, I'm not going to touch that
Don't you
comment.
fucking dare.
But Murphy and I were talking today about how their self-titled album is their best album. And then we looked it up.
Disagree.
And
Enema of the state.
well, and that's what I told her, actually. I was like, well, it depends on what you want. Do you want, like, an actual good piece of music? In that case, you want the self-titled album. Do you want some bangers? Then you want Enema of the State.
Enema of the State just has so many classic...
Name one.
What's My Age Again? I don't know if that's the name of the song,
Yeah,
but that is one of them.
Their self-titled album came out in, like, 2003. And that's, like, one of their later albums. That means Blink was a fucking 90s
Wait,
band.
they didn't have... Their self-titled album wasn't their first album?
No.
That's
there
usually
was
how it is, though.
Take Off Their Pants and Jacket. Dude Bro might have been their first one. And then Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. And then Enema of the State. And then their self-titled album. And then some shit after that I don't give a shit about.
Okay.
This has been musical history.
Blink-182 Trivia Power Hour.
I'm kind of with Elsie on this. The thing that I don't like about 182 is the tone of voice of their lead singer.
Oh, then listen to Plus 44.
What's plus 44?
It's Blink-182 without the wah, wah, wah. It's Travis Barker and the other guy whose name I can't think of right now. Mine is Tom DeLonge.
I see.
No, maybe Tom DeLonge is the right guy. It's without the crazy UFO guy.
I'm telling you right now, I'm going to delete all this anyway because I hate fucking Blink-182. So
Oh God,
off.
that's so
You're going to
awful.
delete it? What do you mean? You're going to
Not
cut this
good.
out of the podcast?
I hate a lot of your goddamn music, but you don't see me shitting on
Yeah,
it.
fuck off. Blink-182 is a good band. They're objectively good. You guys don't know. You wouldn't know. Well, actually, yeah, you would. You do have good
Yeah, I was
taste.
in my
Some
late
music.
teens, early 20s when they were at their height. I was all over that music scene and just
Listen.
all those bands. Sum 41, like
Sum
if you
41
get
fucking rocks. What are you talking
with
about?
numbers after it, you're fucking trash.
Okay, all right. You're going to tell me that Sum 41 is not good? That's what you're
Yes,
telling me?
That's what I'm telling you right fucking now, dude.
Major loss of brownie points. You've got to be fucking kidding me.
Oh,
Sum
I'm sorry
41.
for having better taste.
Better taste in what? Feces?
What? Do you like Nickelback too?
Nickelback? How dare you compare Nickelback to Sum 41 and Blink-182? That is sacrilege.
I will say this, Elsie, you did make Sara actually get up and leave. She left. She stormed off and grabbed a cat in anger.
That's heresy.
That's a thing that Shins are doing this week, apparently.
Yeah, we're storming off and grabbing cats. That's what we're doing.
That cat's got a snarl to it. It's like its lip is fucked up. Maybe it is. She's a warrior. God.
Haven't you ever had a kitty support animal? And it's not a snarl to her. She's just got funny coloring.
So I'm going to make a confession here, Sara. I didn't know you had a cat. I'm so sorry.
Where do you think Nick's cat came from?
What do you mean where Nick's cat came
Oh, she's
from?
so cute.
Are you talking about like cat heaven?
Where do you think Nick got his most recent cats?
I'm thinking he got his most recent cats from the cat store.
Yeah, it's called My Basement.
You're joking. No, it's out of that one. I fished him out of that cat.
Gross.
Yeah.
No, he didn't do shit, but she did have her babies on Murphy's tummy.
Ugh. Do you know what date that was? Taylor wants to know.
I have it written down.
I know that you texted me when
I think it's
the
April
day
16th.
it was happening.
I think it's April 16th.
Who fucking knows? Who fucking cares, really, when those little shits came into existence? They're cats, for Christ's sake.
They are. And that's really not what I wanted to talk about next. What I wanted to talk
Hey,
about...
I'm interrupting you because okay, congratulations on your cigarette thing. But did you have to snap the book in my face? Was that to get my attention?
I rather
like
liked that.
it's authoritative.
It was like an old Western preacher and just whoosh. I like
Yeah, it looks like he was brandishing his Bible. It was very upsetting.
What are you talking about? I have no idea right now what you two are talking about. What do you mean?
Give me your journal.
Oh, that
Your-
journal?
Yeah, the one you're brandishing like a fucking Bible.
You did one of those numbers.
I did not.
Yes, you did. It's in the audio.
3 against
You
1.
definitely did, but I liked it. I thought it looked cool.
Sure, I guess.
That was a real profit thing to do.
Yeah, it was.
profit
I
gesture.
will say
That
that.
was conducive to profit movements.
Prophetic.
Was that like kind of a profit boner? Is that what we're talking about?
that you're giving Nick, maybe.
Gross. God, it's not always about dicks,
Nick
guys.
said pitching a profit in his sweats. So
Yeah, pitching a profit. So anyway, I forgot. I'm going to be honest with you. I forgot that I had this book. And yes, I did probably slap it shut like I was closing a Bible authoritatively after reading an important scripture. Verily, I say unto you, many are the universes into which your soul might wander. And verily, I say unto you, you're probably perfect in one of those motherfuckers. Can I get an amen?
amen.
All right.
Hallelujah!
And then I slap it shut like that. Right on?
Nice.
Thanks. Give me all your fucking money.
Here's what we should do. We should come up with a "Give me all your fucking money" jingle, just like a real quick.
Give me all your fucking money.
I was thinking like
Give me all your fucking money.
we'd all harmonize on it. Give me all your fucking money. That was good.
Give me your cash.
All right, let's try it one more time. Gather on. Elsie, you two. 1, 2, 3.
Give me all your fucking money.
That was
Yeah, you know what?
Too
Too
many.
many cooks.
Too many cooks.
You know what that is? That is a video representation of that fucking horse joke you do.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good analogy.
Do not do
I am
this.
not going to do the whole horse joke
No.
on this podcast.
Don't do any of the horse joke. For the love of God.
Oh my God.
These
Here-
people don't even know the horror.
But here's what I'm going to say, because it's appropriate for me to share the origins of this joke. And the origins of this joke are from a guy who used to be one of my commanders when I was in the Air Force.
That tracks. This seems like some sort of torture they'd put you through as a private.
It's dad jokes for people who aren't dads.
Right. So what happened was this buddy of mine, well, he's now my buddy. I consider him a buddy, but he was my commander at the time, guy named Reed. And Reed is telling this joke to a bunch of us. And at that time, he's a lieutenant colonel. Of course, I retired as a lieutenant colonel this week. That's a whole nother story. But Reed is telling this joke to a bunch of us. We're a bunch of captains. And the joke goes, basically, it's two horses that race their whole lives. One always beats the other. The horse that always gets beat is always number 2. And at the end of the day, he never beats this horse, but a dog comes up and says, oh, wow, look, it's a talking horse.
So no payoff.
So there's no payoff to the joke other than... But you drag the joke out for at least...
years.
Well, for 15 to 20 minutes, because it's Sam and it's Dave and it's Sam and it's Dave and it's Dave and it's Sam and it's Sam and it's Dave.
Sam and it's Ed, for fuck's sake.
Well, whatever. You can substitute any name, obviously.
Jebediah Bartholomew.
I like Bartholomew.
Bartholomew.
Yeah, that is good.
I meant Mew, but it's Jebediah and Bartholomew. It's Jebediah and Bartholomew. That adds precious seconds onto the fucking joke. Those add up.
No. You need those weird horse names, like I will ride her to freedom.
That's a porn name, okay? Not a horse name.
Or I
Have
will
you
ride her
seen-
till the night closes in, I think is one.
Yeah. Have you seen horse names? Like, there is some overlap.
There probably is. So Reed told me that joke, and I inflicted it upon all of you. Now, when he finally came out with whatever the punchline was,
There is no punchline.
that's
the punchline.
That's the punchline, is that there is no punchline.
So after you done about 150 push-ups,
I laughed and laughed and laughed so fucking hard. I thought that was the funniest fucking thing I ever heard in my life.
of course you did. That perfectly encapsulates your sense of
Yeah.
humor.
Well, that's why I got along with
Clearly you
Reed
did.
so well. It's good to get along with your commander, and it's even better when you can go on and he's no longer your commander and still your friend. But the real point of that whole story is that I retired from the Air Force this week after 36 years. And so you might have noticed that I was a bit less restrained this week. And you know why? Because for 36 years, I didn't really have freedom of speech, and that was okay. My job was not to participate in the Bill of Rights. My role was to defend the Bill of Rights. And now I can be a little more free to express my opinion as a retired citizen of the United States.
Anyway,
Now,
fuck
maybe
Trump.
I missed something there, but I don't think you've been any more outspoken this time than last time. In fact, you chastised us and said we all had to be nice to the Trumps. So
Well, yeah.
where's this wild, crazy abandon?
Well, I did notice last time you went on that whole rant, and I could tell that had been building for a while, and you're actually willing to talk politics.
Yeah, I am willing to talk politics now. And what I will say about our political situation is that
It sucks.
what sucks about it is that we are in our own information bubbles. This is old news, frankly. The news is that we have got to break up Facebook, Twitter,
Yeah.
Instagram. Instagram and Facebook are the same thing, by the way. Now, Nick doesn't agree with this.
Because
guys gotta
you get
understand.
stuck in your own sphere of information.
I know, and that's true. I do agree with that, but I'm saying the bad guys already won. It's over. If we broke up Facebook and Instagram, whatever the fuck, more of the same under different guises would come up.
Well, yeah, Nick, it's constant vigilance.
Yeah, but that's a symptom. That's not the problem. It's a symptom of the problem. And the problem is that people have voted people into power who don't care about us. And now we wake up every day with less rights than we had the day before. It's fact.
So that's a fair assessment, but our only weapon against that is the ballot box. And it is incumbent upon each one of us to exercise the only fucking power we have, which is twofold. One is to speak the truth, and the truth is that this country was founded on the values of openness, fair play, justice, equal opportunity. Yes, I know that there was 3/5 of a human being. Yes, I know that we had a whole history and that we've undergone constant evolution. But we have always heretofore evolved in the direction of greater freedoms, greater liberties, greater rights, more inclusiveness, more immigrants, more help from other people. We can't all do it alone. We need immigration. We need people in this country. And by the way, that's a belief that George Washington espoused.
Amen.
I have some
Prophet.
George Washington trivia.
George Washington or George Washington?
Potato, potato. This one also doesn't involve any rape or murder, but it is as sinister. In school they taught us that George Washington had teeth made of wood.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he had teeth made of slaves'
Slaves.
teeth.
Yeah.
So, as this man was preaching all these values and ethics and morals and
Well, they were immigrants.
what's
That's like
word?
the whole thing.
Basic human rights. He was saying it with the teeth of a dead slave. Or maybe still alive with a fucking dry socket out there toiling in the cotton fields. Who knows? I'm just saying, the foundation that all of this was built upon was built by men who had no problem owning slaves. So,
I will say that back before dentures, though, if you were going to have fake teeth, they were from somebody. Now, if you happen to have slaves, sure, you would take them from those dead slaves. They're not going to use them. But if you don't have slaves, it would be some other poor ass whoever or was around that either died or they didn't really have any way to fill cavities or anything back in the day. So they would just pop fucking teeth out if they were hurting you. And if you don't have any teeth and you don't have any nerves, you don't care if it's got a cavity in it. Yes, it's just gross to think about it, but I don't necessarily think he was going around punching slaves in the jaw saying, give me your fucking teeth.
you don't know that he wasn't doing that. You don't know that he didn't go down there and say,
That's
hey,
true.
Abraham, listen. And then he just snaps his fingers and his goons walk in, hold the guy down, and he just rips his fucking teeth out with a pair of rusty pliers. We don't know that he didn't do that.
Yeah, we kind of do know that.
No,
Hang on. Of the 4 people on this podcast, I believe I may be the only one who has read Ron Chernow's autobiography of George Washington, with the possible exception of Elsie. Elsie may have
You
read
got
that.
the book from me.
Just because I got the book from you doesn't mean you read it first.
I did, though.
Okay. So then you know his false teeth were actually made of porcelain. He had one of the foremost denture makers in England.
Fake news.
But he
Fake
did have
history.
other people's teeth before he got those teeth.
I have a little bit of trivia for you guys.
Yeah.
Do you know why dentistry is its own separate practice from medical history?
To extract more money out of people? I'm just guessing.
No, it was a beef between 2 doctors. I can't remember when exactly this took place. I want to say in the 1800s. I listened to this medical
It was
history.
2005.
It was 2005, okay? And Jerry Springer and Maury were fighting about their doctorate degrees. And Maury wanted to practice dentistry in Dr. Phil's fucking
Okay,
college.
so what really happened?
I'm telling you. So they were trying to make dentistry a legitimate practice. So this was all during the experimental 1800 Western
And
times.
the guy was like, I cut off human limbs for fun.
Yeah.
That's real doctory, not
Yes.
teeth.
And it was totally just a pissing contest between these 2 people. And so that's why American dentistry is a different school where you don't learn the same kind of shit as medical doctors, even though your teeth are so important to the rest of your health.
All of that may be true, but are you aware that 9 out of 10 dentists recommend Dentyne to their patients who chew gum?
Are you aware that 10 out of 10 dentists recommend listening to a Shin show?
I wasn't aware.
Here's how we do that. We walk into a dentist's office and say, listen, if your 2 options are using urine to clean your teeth or listening to a Shin show, which one do you recommend? And they say, well, I guess I technically have to recommend listening to a Shin show. Then we say, thank you, bye, and then we walk out.
Now, what's perfect is you have a dental appointment this week coming up on Wednesday. So you
You
need
can
to
ask
get your
him about
dentist
it.
woke to ass.
I can get a dentist woke to ass. And let's face it, if you're not an ass lover, well, what are you then?
You're scum. You can't be saved.
Yeah, so ass, by the way, you know, we all love ass, but ass in this
It's
case...
never not funny.
Well,
I'm so glad I convinced you to change the show name.
what did you convince me to change the show name to?
A Shin show.
I thought we called it a Shin Show right out of the gate.
Nah.
No, we
Nah,
didn't.
dog.
You
It
convinced
was-
us of that?
Yeah.
It was Steal This Podcast, too. It was super original. You stole somebody else's name, and then you stuck the word
2.
The point is we love ass, and we hope you love ass too. But ass in this case, in addition to ass, also means a Shin Show.
Yeah, thank you for mansplaining that to us. You want to know something?
I wasn't mansplaining it to you, honey. I was
What's a day
mansplaining it to
without
the
mansplaining?
I was mansplaining it to the 25 listeners that we have, and potentially 26. You never know what this week will bring.
I will say that we have been doing this long enough that nighttime mode on my phone is kicked in.
Hey, I have just one more little interesting bit of trivia that does involve a little bit of death. Okay.
Just a little. It is October.
Do you guys know what vulture bees are?
No, this is okay. So I was curious about this at the beginning of the show, and then
Yeah.
Dad deleted that whole bit. So
Yeah.
let's hear it.
Okay, well, vulture bees they're like bees, but instead of black and yellow, they're black and red. They have a queen, they live in hives and so on, but they don't get nectar to make honey. Vulture bees get the meat from the dead, rotting animals, hence the vulture part of their names, and they make honey with that. They make meat honey.
Gross.
Out of rotting flesh.
Gross.
Would you try
Gross.
it? That's the question.
Yes.
Oh my God, cross promotion with cash for meat.
That's exactly what I was thinking immediately, is that this is the insect version of Cash for Meat.
I'm pretty sure that Cash
gotta-
for Meat has a couple hives. Do they make hives?
Well, Cash for Meat, they are legally obligated to not tell you what they do with the rotten meat. People ask, and they're just not going to tell you, so stop asking. Now, whether or not they have hives of vulture bees, like beekeepers, and they use the meat honey produced therein for whatever their nefarious purposes are, I can't say, because I'm not a spokesman for Cash for Meat, but if I was, I would be legally obligated not to tell you anything, under
Nice.
pain of death, which would then be turned into meat honey,
Exactly.
of course. Yeah.
That is in the employment contract. I will say, I think I've said this before, but it is spoopy season, and I'm mourning the fact that I'm not going to go to any haunted houses this year
Why are you not going to any haunted houses this year?
because of COVID.
While I get that, can't you just wear a mask and get scared?
I don't know, maybe. I'd have to look at the spoopy season house rules
Why do you say spoopy season?
because it's too spoop 5 me.
What?
Because of the memes, Dad.
Oh, is it memery?
It's
See,
chicanery, yes.
I see. Well, I thought it was just because you were saying something cute. Because when you were a little girl, you used to say lots of cute things. In fact, Elsie will tell you I say cute things that you used to say all the time. Isn't that true?
Doot.
Yes, it's like
That's
I
a big
have
one.
a 3 or 4 year old Sarah in our house at all times.
And it's adorable.
Well, that's what Elsie
Sure,
says
we'll
to
go
you
with that.
all the time. But I say things like, ice bursty. Do I not? Elsie, back me up on this. Do I not say that?
Did I not say it's like having a 3 or 4 year old Sarah in the house at all times?
Yeah.
What more do I have to say?
Yeah, except it's got a dick.
Gross.
Well, the other thing I often say is, I seepy, which is another thing that you used to say.
Yeah, I was cute.
It's so true.
Seepy.
I
I'm feeling
seepy.
seepy. I'm feeling like I'm seeping a little bit.
Well, it's really disgusting when you do it, Nick. I mean, you were never as cute. I'm so sorry. I wish you had been.
Wow.
No. I'm so disappointed.
Oh, well, I'll tell you one thing, though. One of the best things about this particular week, outside of my retirement after 36 years of service to our country, God bless me, is the opportunity. You're welcome, by the way. You're welcome. No problem. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the blanket of freedom under which you'll sleep tonight. I mean, all I did was...
God. Thank him for his service already.
I mean, how long do I have to go on sucking my own dick here? Jesus.
Well, none of us are
You're
going to do
pretty
it,
good
so.
All right. So anyway, my point is that the best thing about this week, from my point of view, is being able to come here and share this conversation with both of you on a live basis. And it's nice to have Elsie, you involved as well. I wish you were here, honey. And I wish, obviously, Noah was with us as well. But this is just terrific to be able to share this retirement celebration with my two eldest kids.
Boring. No, I'm just kidding.
Can I go have dinner now that you gave your nice speech?
I think so.
You may
Oh,
be
thank
excused. Oh, how I wish you were here.
You look very unhappy about this, Peter.
No, it's fine. But let me just say this. Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
Oh, that's one thing you can tell.
Heaven from hell.
Blue eyes from feces.
That's not how it goes. Love you, bye. Coming to A&E on Halloween. The beloved on-screen father to millions in such classics as The Fly, Independence Day, and several guest appearances on Friends. But behind the kindly eyes and blindingly white smile lies the dark, sinister, and bone-chilling reality of Jeff Goldblum. Through exclusive interviews with associates, debt collectors, and victims, we expose his nefarious secrets, his addiction to blood diamonds,
He told me he wanted the diamonds to have actual blood on them and demanded the conflict footage as a certificate of authenticity.
illegal funding of paramilitary groups,
Jeff Goldblum did more to fund the Biafra military coup than the CIA. And don't think he was a silent partner either. He ran the show.
and bioengineering of internationally prohibited creatures of war.
I told him, Mr. Goldblum, this technology doesn't make you a god. And he just laughed and laughed like he does, and just kept on manipulating them genes.
Coming to A&E this Halloween. Inside the Monster. The Jeff Goldblum story.
A Shin Show is a production of Shinfluence. It features the voices and opinions of the Shin family, which are entirely and exclusively their own. Join us each week on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks as always to our regular listeners. We love to hear from you, so if you have a question, comment, recommendation, or idea you would like to submit to a Shin Show, please email us at ashinshow@gmail.com, and we will be happy to ignore it, belittle you publicly, or steal your ideas if you actually have a good one. And don't forget, if it ain't ass, it's shit.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.